So thanks everybody for joining us today to learn about talent attraction. We're excited to share with you what we've learned through our consulting and research about attracting talent to communities, including strategic approaches, social media, web portals, and more. My name is Daryl Metcalf. I'm a consultant with YFactor and I'll moderate the webinar. Your presenter will be Anya Kodak, CEO of YFactor. If you have any questions about anything that you see, please use the questions box at the right side of your screen and we'll collect your questions throughout the webinar and answer them all at the end. And yeah, so with that, let's get started. I'll turn it over now to Anya, who will get things going with a brief overview of today's topics. Anya?
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Daryl. And welcome, everybody. It's really great to have you all here. I'm just pleased because we've got people that have logged in from coast to coast, from the U.S., from Canada, and it really goes to show that talent attraction is on everybody's minds right across the country, and it's becoming a more and more serious issue. It's close to my heart, and a topic that I'm very passionate about. So I'd like to share some of our thoughts with you and some of the trends that we've seen out there, and just share with you some of the approaches and the strategies that we see working, and some of the considerations that you need to keep in mind if talent attraction is something that's on your radar screen, something that you're planning for, something that you're already involved in, or just something that you're thinking about for the future. So what I'd like to cover today, and we're looking at approximately 45 minutes in total, and I'll try to stick to that as much as possible. Today's topics, I'd like to talk a little bit about demographics and why talent attraction has become important to everybody, and then look at various strategies, what people across North America are doing, what kinds of activities they're engaged in, from web portals to communities to social media, and of course the promotion of those activities. So we'll just jump right in on that note. In terms of demographics, we've got, there's everybody's worst nightmare, boarded up office buildings, and really this is, it's a grim reality, and it's happening all across the country. Where rural or smaller communities are seeing a lot of youth out migration. Kids are growing up, they're going to university, they're not coming back. We've got an aging workforce. There's a continuously steady low birth rate. So we're just not having enough babies to replace everybody. At the same time, all that obviously translates into a decrease in the labor force, shortage of specifically skilled labor. High-end, some more engineering-type positions are getting harder and harder to fill, and as a result, employers can't find the staff that they need. They're concerned, they're frustrated, they can't run their businesses effectively. The businesses leave, the businesses shut down. And then you get buildings like this that make all of us working in the economic development sector cringe, and the community is left in a downward spiral. Talent attraction is the one strategy to begin working against that, looking at how do we, what can we do with this situation? How can we move? What kinds of activities can we undertake? What kinds of strategies can we put in place in order to prevent this kinds of situation? And if you're already in this situation, how do we turn it around? And there are communities that have successfully turned it around. So let's go look a little further. In terms of strategies, we've got a number of different directions that strategies can be taken, and the important thing to remember when planning out any sort of strategy is you can't do everything, and the effort that you put in, the costs required, the resources required, the more focused the campaign is, the more successful it will be. So is it going to be attracting the entrepreneur startup businesses, or should we go after the people that grew up in this area but have now moved away? Can we find a way to entice them to come back again? What about new immigrants, perhaps educated immigrants? And this is an area that in Canada there has been a lot of emphasis right down from the government in attracting immigrants from other countries that have their engineering degrees, their master's degrees, that are highly educated, highly skilled, in order to fill those positions. But then there's a different issue that happens there, where a lot of the new immigrants move to large cities, not into the more outlying areas, which leaves the communities in the outlying areas still struggling for talent, where there's a glut of it almost to just a couple of hour drive away. Knowledge workers, another area where we see a lot of communities very interested in how do we get more knowledge workers into our area. Businesses are moving away. They're shutting down their head offices and moving them into larger urban centers because we cannot attract enough knowledge workers. It's a serious, serious issue. And again, if that's the focus, and then build the entire strategy around that focus, instead of going all over the place. Resident attraction, another very interesting strategy. Some places find it most effective to focus on getting young families in. They want to get kids into the schools. They want to build that workforce. They want it's less important where the adults work. They want to have those families that create that sustainable community, that pay into the tax base, that keep the retail base, that keep people in the communities to buy things from the retailers that are already there. So in some cases, just plain resident attraction is really effective. Retiree attraction can be very effective as well. There's a lot of often income that is being easier to spend. Retirees have already put their kids through college and now have the extra money and the extra time to be able to spend it. So we've seen some interesting case studies for retiree strategies. And student strategies, by that I mean places that have in a very focused way concentrated on retaining students. So if they have a university or a college, postgraduate or post-secondary education in their community, they make a concerted effort saying, how can we retain all of that intellectual capital? How can we retain those people and make sure that they do not leave when they finish here? And in your particular case, for your particular community, you may very well have a different strategy that makes the most sense. But what we've learned and what I would recommend and what we've seen firsthand is don't do it all at once. Don't do all of it. Focus be very, very clear on what it is you need to do. And secondly, keep in mind that talent attraction is not simply an economic development function. It spans every corner of your community. That means your workforce people, your social services people, your people in education, in English as a second language, multiple layers of government. It really is it's very broad. The more community groups and stakeholders you can get on board to help you and to participate, the more successful the initiative will be. Lastly, the most important thing to remember when you're developing your strategy, don't jump ahead. Don't resist the temptation to jump into a marketing tactic right off the bat. Be very clear what's the strategy that we're going to employ, how is that strategy going to be executed, and what is the long-term viability and sustainability of that strategy in terms of resources, particularly funding, because these sorts of initiatives are not short-term initiatives. I'm going to be showing you a lot of examples. So central to just looking quickly at the web portal as kind of the first step that many people move into as soon as the strategy has been developed, because of course web portals are very central to any sort of people attraction strategy. The web portal is both the information hub and your cheerleading hub. It's the place where you can talk about yourself, brag about yourself, tell people what the great things are about your community, and tell them why they need to come there. And this is where you focus the bulk of your content. This is the place that's going to be interactive. This is where you can build communities. All these things can happen on your portal. The important thing to remember when you're building a portal is how to drive traffic to it. And so in all cases, yes, the content on the portal is critical. How it works is critical. Driving traffic to it becomes one of the most critical aspects, and sometimes is overlooked when planning the portal in the first place. Also, a portal, again, is not a one-time shot. It's a living, breathing portal that is going to need long-term sustainable resources to keep it going, to keep it running, to be promoted, to be updated accordingly. And in terms of how long is long-term, and this is anytime you get involved in any sort of people or talent attraction project, you're looking at a minimum of a 5 to 10-year project plan. In many cases, you may find that because of the shifts in the demographics, this may be a permanent project, particularly as you begin to see results coming from it, and the effect, the impact that you've been able to make with it. So here's an example. This is and like I said, I'm going to be going through a whole bunch of stuff. Dakota Roots, they were having an issue with out-migration in South Dakota. They felt their workforce was not strong enough, and so they specifically focused on expats, so kids that had grown up in South Dakota, that had family there, that had friends there, that had gone away to college and had not returned. And so their strategy focused very much on family and friend referrals. It allows residents to link families and friends that are living far away to potential employment opportunities. The job posting is a very central part of this portal. Anyone can register, search, apply. There's a lot of information in here about relocating to South Dakota, so information on industries, salaries, cost of living, and so forth. And in terms of what they've actually achieved since 2007, they have attracted approximately 420 new employees per year, and there are an average of over 2,000 new active job seekers on the site each year, and the job database is very active with more than 10,000 listings. So they've been able to really turn that expat strategy into a living, breathing, continuous source of labor. In Bloomington, they've done a really great job. The Bloomington Technology Partnership in Indiana launched this site for the sole purpose of helping employers fill tech jobs and attract tech talent. And on the website, again, job board, which is something that you'll see as a recurring theme, specifically for area technology companies. There's profiles of technology employers. There's news. There's videos that showcase companies. And throughout the portal, they're very careful to position Bloomington as a place to start and grow tech firms, to have a career in technology, and encourage people to go there, find a job, and find out more. Hello West Michigan was launched by a consortium of larger employers in collaboration with the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce. And it has all of the standard live here information, work here information, and again combined with a very strong job board, allows people to post resumes, learn about companies, search for jobs, create alerts, and so forth. The work in the Triangle is a partnership between Wake County Economic Development and the Greater Raleigh Chamber of Commerce. And the purpose of this particular site was to recruit professionals for the key sectors in North Carolina's Research Triangle. And the Research Triangle encompasses Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. And this portal is the central landing point for a $1 million recruitment campaign. And so they have understood very clearly that the portal is just the beginning. The recruitment campaign is what drives the traffic to the portal, and how important it is to do that, and they put the money behind it to make it happen. There's an interesting quote that I'd like to read to you from Jennifer Bosser, who is the Executive Director with Wake County Economic Development, and she says, "In the global economy, smart people can choose to live and work wherever they want to live. We are designing a campaign to recruit smart people from all over the world to move the intellectual capital to the Triangle. We have designed the campaign around the human interest story here, showcasing local talent and their different perspectives or angles on why they love the Triangle." So again, going back to the theme of, if people are moving all over the place, how can we get them to come to our location? In Oxford, Ontario, this is the story that I briefly alluded to, the challenge of immigrants moving into large metropolitan areas and not finding their way out into the surrounding areas. That is exactly what happened in Oxford. This is a rural community with a manufacturing sector, heavy in the manufacturing sector. They are located about an hour and a half out of Metro Toronto. And we're seeing youth out-migration, aging workforce, and having some significant issues with their large employers who just couldn't find the right people, particularly skilled labor and engineering positions, for example, auto manufacturing. And so they embarked on a strategy to attract skilled immigrants, specifically from Toronto. And so these are immigrants that are new to the country. They have come in from all over the world, but they have settled in Toronto as a first landing place, and they probably have never even heard of Oxford, which is located, again, about an hour and a half outside. So strategically, they embarked on this very community-wide initiative that involved over 100 stakeholders and over 20 different community groups. They launched a portal as part of that strategy, and all of the content was written and organized from a newcomer perspective. There's videos on there that tell the story of the place. They tell the story. It's told by other newcomers, and the whole site really works really hard to make people feel welcome. They also followed this up with a promotion program to drive traffic to the portal, as well as with a partner job portal website. So there's a quick look at a number of different portals, and there's really two ways of looking at talent attraction online and the opportunities that are available for bringing people online. One is to drive traffic to your portal, that people find information and get in touch with you, and we saw a number of those examples. Another is to think about building communities. And the web obviously lends itself to building communities, particularly through social communities. And there are a few organizations that have gone the route of building communities, of trying to find ways for potential prospects or potential residents, employees, and talent to begin to talk to each other and to begin to become involved with the community before they even move there. Communities can be a great pool for an ongoing source of talent, The members of communities can be reached, they can be talked to, they can be nurtured, they can be educated. So there's certainly value to considering the building of communities. The strength of the community further promotes and positions your location as being desirable just by the fact that others are interested and are spending time there. It promotes the value of your community. The largest challenge with any sort of community building website is building the traffic and finding the people to participate in your community, getting their time and getting their mind share. So here's an example, Fuel Milwaukee. It's a talent attraction retention initiative that is also a community, and it is a community of over 6,000 professionals and over 50 employers. So they have really done a great job in getting people involved and building membership. The content on the portal throughout positions Milwaukee as a regional talent pool and the people within it as being the most engaged in the country. There is a job board that is very central to this. You can find jobs, create profiles. You can also meet members with similar interests. Fuel Milwaukee has another community on LinkedIn, and they have over 9,000 members on their LinkedIn community. So they have really worked on building community and getting people to talk to each other, participate in events, come out to events, and build and get to know each other, network with each other. Campus Philly has taken a similar approach. Now, with Campus Philly, they identified a number of years ago that only about 29% of their non-native students were staying in the area after graduation. And they saw that as an opportunity. And so they began this program where they feature stories about top jobs and questions. They provide information about campuses and neighborhoods. They have a calendar of events. They provide discounts for students. And most of all, they have this jobs and internships section of the website where they organize career events and get people connected to jobs in the city. As a result of this portal and the work that they've done in trying to retain their students, they were able to increase their retention rate to 48%. So in 2004, 29% of non-native students stayed in the area. By 2010, it was up to 48%. And they've done a great job on that. So moving on to some social media tactics. Social media can be used in two ways. Either as a tactic to find, engage, and get people to go to your web portal, or as a place to build an online community. And you just heard the example of Fuel Milwaukee using LinkedIn to build a community of 9,000. Creative and talented people, many of them are in online communities. They thrive on them. They enjoy the interaction. It's a great place to find them and get their attention. Social media is most often used in combination with some kind of a strong web portal. It's not often used by itself, so that's something to keep in mind. Again, always sort of coming back to that web portal tends to be the hub of where all of the information is, and then the other strategies lay around it and feed into it and support it. So here's an example of the Greater Louisville GLIP, as they call it, project. They have done a tremendous job. They've gone, this is their web portal. They've gone way beyond that to use Picasa and Facebook and Twitter and Vimeo to really use the social media in an extensive way. On Picasa alone, you can see here, they have 60 photo albums that they've posted, all with different events that have happened and gone on. It's all easy to find and look at and share. On Vimeo, they've posted over 150 videos, and they're just constantly and consistently communicating, themes of inclusion, engagement, be here, come here, and so forth. This was an interesting project in Golden, British Columbia. Golden is an incredibly beautiful, very remote, relatively remote area in northern British Columbia. And they set out to attract the adventure lifestyle entrepreneurs. So very, very targeted strategy. They said, excuse me, I'm doing a lot of talking here. So they set out to identify very clearly who would be the people most likely to come and set up shop in Golden, and how do we get their attention. So what they did is they developed an attraction portal. It's conceptually very creative. It uses a lot of visuals and photography. There's also a portal promotion plan, very targeted at the specific audience, set of marketing tactics to reach those audiences, and a number of social media campaigns using Facebook, Twitter, and Flickr. The strategy was really focused on attracting the outdoor enthusiast that values a high quality of life. And with the theme of Make Golden BC Your Backyard, there was emphasis really placed on the beauty of the place with lots of pictures and lots of stories by existing entrepreneurs and people that have been able to shift their lifestyle to Golden, BC, and to living, working, and enjoying the outdoors there. The social media campaign spanned the Facebook, Twitter, and Flickr, and was really used to build traffic and to build interest, and also to build a community that Golden, BC could begin to have conversations with. There's a number of emerging social media platforms that also provide a lot of opportunity for EDOs. We haven't seen them used as much as we think they're going to be used, or they may be used in the future. Some of the less popular at this point platforms that have a lot of potential include Tumblr, which is a microblogging site, Vidi, which is a short video site, Pinterest, and there's a number of apps that are available as well, and one of those is Instagram, which makes it really easy to adjust, change, and then share photos with your friends. So it's a great way to promote and build your own community. So if you develop your strategy, build your web portal, the big question is, build it and they will come? Well, not likely. Sorry. Launching the portal is never enough, and everyone listening probably is nodding and knows this. The portal is a product, and so like any product, it requires active marketing and promotion in order to be successful. One organization that has done this really well is Calgary. And Calgary had a problem in 2010 where even though there was strong growth in the province, there was actually a net loss of migration. And they had their population numbers went down. And so they immediately launched into a large resident attraction campaign. They launched a portal and they launched a complementary campaign. The campaign was called Be Part of the Energy. And here you can see the launch of that campaign. They had an outdoor breakfast. There was musicians. The mayor unveiled the campaign. The campaign really celebrates the city's energy, and it was designed to create national awareness of Calgary. And it ended up including media relations, public relations, advertising, social media engagement on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. The portal itself included an overview of Calgary, information about homes and schools and lifestyle, recreation, health, safety, what's involved in moving to Calgary. And they had some interesting special features as well, a photographic journey showing all the different sides of Calgary and a very comprehensive job portal. The results were that in 2010 there was a net out-migration, a loss in migration. By 2011 they had a 25% increase in net migration. And they had over 300 media hits, which were valued at over $1 million, and sold-out events with Calgary's mayor in various large urban communities throughout Canada. They had over 27 million marketing impressions and over 100,000 visitors to the site. So it does work. It does take effort, but it can be done, and it can have a significant impact. So just to wrap up, the most important points to remember, there are real demographic shifts that are forcing talent recruitment. It's not a short-term project. If you're interested in getting into talent attraction, you've got to think about this as a long-term project and get that commitment from your partners and stakeholders. Always develop the strategy first, then the product, then the promotion. Very specific targeting really helps to focus your efforts and give you better results. Make sure you've got as many people on board as you possibly can. And the marketing program that you put in place has got to continuously be driving traffic and generating interest and getting people to look at what you've got. And keep in mind that these demographic shifts are happening everywhere, so your neighbors and their neighbors are all going to be vying for talent, and if they're not, they're really missing the boat. So if you engage in a talent attraction strategy, it is likely, and it can certainly become a key competitive advantage for your community. So keep that in mind as you consider this. So who are we? These are the sorts of things we do. We do marketing for economic impact. That means we get involved with investment attraction marketing, business retention, people attraction, tourist attraction. We're the only company in North America that seamlessly integrates economic development and marketing strategy with the actual implementation of the programs. That means multi-year marketing strategies and implementation that includes materials, marketing materials, content writing, program development, websites, social media, and the integration of a variety of technology tools. The key benefit to economic developers in working with us is that because of our seamless approach and methodology, and for marketing, we're able to generate better results and reduce costs. We believe in giving back. That's why you're listening to this webinar today. We are continually publishing articles on our blog. That's yfactorblog.com. Our webinars are saved after, so if you know somebody that missed this or should see this, this will probably be available by next week anyways. If you'd like to receive the articles into your inbox, we do have a subscription available. And we have books available on Amazon.com as well. You can just search by Economic Development Tech Trends, and you'll be able to find them. And that wraps up the formal portion of the presentation, so I can take some questions now.
All right, so thank you very much, Anya. Very good ideas and lots of very good examples of communities implementing those ideas. So yeah, as Anya mentioned, we are recording this, so to preempt some of the questions here. You will receive an email with a link where you can rewatch this presentation or send it to a colleague who happened to miss out. So with that, let's get to the questions. And just as a reminder, you can use the box on the right side of your screen to ask your questions. So first question, Anya, how long would it generally take to launch a strategy and portal? So a strategy and a talent attraction strategy and a web portal.
I'm going to give you the it depends answer, and it depends a little bit on how much alignment there already is in the community in order to get the project up and rolling, and whether the funding has been located. Those are a couple of issues that need to be moved out of the way. Once the community is ready to roll, we've been able to see the entire project up and running somewhere between, realistically, you're looking at 4 to 6 months on the short side and 8 to 12 months on the longer side. But of course, those timelines can always be compressed or sometimes expanded due to the number of stakeholders that are involved.
Okay, thank you. Similar type of question. How large of a budget should a community allocate to implement an effective talent attraction strategy?
That's a really good question and depends a little bit on the goals that you have in mind. We've seen budgets where communities have allocated over a couple $1 million in order to get these types of projects up and running and get the kind of media attention that they need. Depending on the size of your community, that may not be realistic. We've also worked with smaller rural communities where you're looking at budgets that are somewhere in the $50,000 to $100,000 range, and there's a lot that can already be put in place for that, provided you've got a little bit of support from the community to help push things through.
All right. So you mentioned the talent attraction web portal as sort of like a web hub that you need to drive traffic to. Can you expand a bit on how to go about driving traffic to this portal?
A traffic attraction strategy should be targeted to a specific target audience. So in the example of Golden, British Columbia, let's just take that because it's such a narrowly target audience. We were looking specifically for outdoor active enthusiasts, so that could potentially become entrepreneurs that would want to live there, that would value that lifestyle and be able to work remotely. So it was a very targeted attraction strategy that, using social media, we were able to find the right people, connect with them in their communities where they're talking and exchanging information, reach out to them, let them know about the benefits, about the community of Golden, and get them interested. So in that particular case, very, very targeted. In the case of an immigrant attraction strategy, for example, it's always a matter of finding the places where the people that you want to reach are currently congregating online, and then being able to develop strategies for reaching them. You're not going to be in the old world. We used to buy, people used to buy magazine ads for the readers that would read a particular type of magazine. In today's world, we're looking for those online communities where the people we want to reach are already congregating, and we want to be able to get their attention there and drive them back to the website. There's also a lot of other strategies that can be used to drive traffic to websites, everything from search engine optimization and generating content, writing blogs, disseminating stories, using YouTube to promote your community, and so forth.
All right, thank you. What kind of metrics are used for tracking the success of a talent attraction program?
That's a good question. We recommend setting metrics up front. A talent attraction program can't be measured very quickly, but the activities that need to go in need to be measured on an ongoing basis. So simple things like the kind of web traffic that you're getting, who's coming to your website, how many people, what kinds of results are you getting on the campaigns, how much traffic are you able to convert from social media activities, how much can you convert from email campaigns, how much media coverage are you able to generate, what kind of support can you gain and gather from stakeholders, how many of your stakeholders can you engage to promote on your behalf, the number of trade fairs, career fairs that you've attended, the number of opportunities that you've put through, the number of postings on your job board. Those are all really good indicators, and that's how we recommend measuring the success of the campaign, is identifying what are the indicators that will show you that the campaign is working and that you can communicate back to the boards or the councils that need to know how well this project is going.
All right, very good. I'm going to ask a question that's a combination of a couple similar questions. So similar to your example of a small town trying to attract talent like Oxford County, what should a smaller community like that do first to begin to attract talent?
The very first thing that needs to be done is to have clarity on where you're going to go and who you're going to go after. So it's coming back to what's the strategy. That's the very, very first thing that needs to happen, and it doesn't matter if you're a big city or if you're a small town. You've got to be really, really clear, and if you're a small town, it's even more important to understand exactly who are we going after, where are we going to find them is going to be the second question. And with that information, then you can begin to work through what the tactics are in order to make that happen. How can we sustain this program? Who are the partners that are going to be on board? Where are we going to get the support that we need? Where can we find the funds to help pull this project off? Once you've got that strategy wrapped up and have the plan in place, then you're in a position to be able to implement against it and implement the marketing tactics around it. And generally it follows the path of portal first, but again, the portal needs to match what the strategy is. And then once you've got that hub, that portal in place, then the next step is how do we drive traffic to it? What's the promotion plan?
All right, very good answer. Just going to hold on a second and see if there's any other questions currently being typed. I think we're good. So thanks everybody for attending. If you have any other questions, when you're reviewing the video perhaps later that we send out, or just in general, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our contact info is on your screen there. And we're very happy that you could take the time this afternoon to join us to learn about talent attraction. So thanks everybody.
Thanks everyone.